Ну що, всім привіт! Я думаю, можемо починати. Сподіваюся, всі мене чують та бачать. Отож, мене звуть Аліна. Ласкаво просимо на вебінар від Green Country. Перед тим, як почнемо з вами, я хочу вам нагадати декілька правил проведення вебінару. Ми з вами будемо працювати в такому режимі, що, на жаль, я вас не зможу ні побачити, ні почути, але ми зможемо з вами спілкуватися через чат. Тому знайдіть, будь ласка, чат в себе і туди можете задавати всі свої питання, а також, коли ми будемо виконувати завдання, я туди попрошу писати ваші відповіді. Також, якщо раптом так трапиться, що я зникну зі зустрічі, будь ласка, не від'єднуйтесь, я спробую перезапустити Zoom та приєднатись повторно. Якщо так само трапляється у вас, якщо раптом у вас є проблеми з під'єднанням, підключенням, так само можете переходити за тим самим посиланням і продовжувати працювати. Окей. So, ready to start? Today we're going to talk about past tenses. We're going to review them, and also we will look with you at some most common collocations in English. And at the end of our webinar, we will be doing some reading tasks with you. Yes, we will look at some tips, and also we will practice a bit. So if you're ready to start, then let's start. I see your answers to the chat. Hello everyone. Okay. So let's go. I suggest that we start with you with some pleasant things. Let's look at this picture and let's try to think about your last holidays. And let's try to answer these three questions. Did you travel last summer? Where did you go? What were you doing there? So please try to answer these three questions. I will wait. Just answer. You can type your answers to the chat, or you can just say them aloud to yourself. I see some of you did. But some of you did not. Okay, so guys, but the question is, what tenses, what grammar structures did you use to answer these three questions? What are they? So let me remind you the questions. Did you travel last summer? Where did you go? And what were you doing there? What are these three grammar structures? Yeah, I see the correct answer. These are past simple and past continuous. We also call them narrative tenses because we use them to narrate or to tell about some past events or situations. Yes, that's why we call them narrative tenses. So let's look when we use them. First of all, we use past simple to talk about some completed actions in the past. For example, I finished school in 2020. Yeah, so that was a finished action, a completed action in the past. Also, we can use past simple to talk about some past state. For example, Mike was very sad yesterday, or you can say, I was sad yesterday. That was your state. Yes, it's a state, and you tell about the past. Yes? And also, we can use it about actions that happened one after another when we have a series of actions in the past. For example, he came in, he took off his coat, and he sat down. So we have three actions, and that is a kind of series, yes? He came in, took off his coat, and sat down. And these actions happened one after another, yeah? At the same time, we can use past continuous to talk about past, yes? To narrate about some past events. We use it when there are two actions that were in progress at the same time. For example, while she was cooking the dinner, he was playing computer games. So we have two actions that were in progress, yes? At the same time in the past. For example, while she was cooking, he was playing computer games. Also, we can use past continuous to talk about actions, events, or situations that were in progress at a specific time in the past. For example, we were watching like the movie at 6 p.m. yesterday. For example, you guys, what were you doing at this time yesterday? So now it's 2 p.m. What were you doing at 2 p.m. yesterday? Give me your answers to the chat. What were you doing at this time yesterday? I was sleeping. I was doing my homework. I was cleaning my room. Great. So you see you're using past continuous to tell about that because you have some specific time, 2 p.m. yesterday. And we may also use past continuous to talk about a past action in the progress that was interrupted by another action. For example, yes, when I was having breakfast, my mom phoned me. So you see we have two actions. And we have one continuous action, I was having breakfast. And we have a short action that interrupted that long action. My mom phoned me. So we use past continuous for the long action in the past, and we use past simple for the action that interrupted that continuous action. Okay, let's look at some signal words. You know that these words can help you to find out what tense you need to use. For example, in past simple, we have yesterday, last week, last year, 2 weeks ago, or 2 years ago. We have then, when, in 2014, in the 90s. These all were in the past. So these time markers or signal words, they show us that we need to use past simple. Great. We have the same words as past continuous, and they are when, while, at 5 o'clock yesterday, at 2 o'clock yesterday, at this time yesterday, all day yesterday, all night, all morning. So when you have all, it means duration, some continuous period, yeah? So, and for these occasions, you need to use past continuous. Great, let's go next. Let's recollect how we form past simple and past continuous. I hope you remember that in order to form past continuous, we need to use auxiliary verbs, was or were. Yes, we use was for I, he, she, it, and we use were for you, we, they. And then we need to add ing ending to the main verb. For example, Sarah was playing the piano when the guest knocked on the door. So the main verb in this sentence, that is play, we just need to add the ing ending. And before that, we need to put the auxiliary verb was, because that is she, Sarah, she. She was playing the piano when the guest knocked on the door. In order to form a negative, we just need to add not to the auxiliary verb. And we will have Sarah was not playing the piano. That's quite simple, yes? And in order to make a question, we need to put this auxiliary verb before the subject. For example, was Sarah playing the piano? Yeah, or when was Sarah playing the piano? But with past simple, it's more complicated, I would say. Why do you think? Why past simple form is more complicated than for past continuous? What do you need to remember if you talk about past simple? What is so tricky about past simple? Any guesses? Did, that's right, the auxiliary verb for past simple, that is did or didn't. That's right, I see the correct answers. When you talk about past simple, you need to remember that all verbs in English are divided into two separate categories, yes? Regular verbs and irregular verbs. If you have regular verbs, that everything is also simple. You just need to add ed to the verb and you will have the past form. For example, she finished work at 8 p.m. Nothing difficult, yes? If you need to make up a negative, you use auxiliary verb didn't and the infinitive of the main verb. For example, she didn't finish or she didn't go to that concert yesterday. In order to form up a question, you use the auxiliary verb did and the infinitive of the main verb. For example, did she go to the concert yesterday? Yeah, that's very simple. But let's look at some irregular verbs. We cannot just simply add ed ending to make the past form, but we need to memorize them. We need to learn them by heart. I suggest you to recollect how well you remember the irregular verbs. Look at my screen and let's try to recollect what is the past form and what is the past participle form of these verbs. So let's look at verb number 1, to catch. Is it irregular or irregular verb? That is surely an irregular verb. That's why the past form and the past participle is caught, caught. Yeah, we say as caught, but that is written with A-U, caught, caught. Great. What about draw? Is it a regular or irregular verb? Drew and Let's recollect the past participle. We say drawn, but we write it with A. Yeah? Okay, what about to hide? A small hint to you, that is also an irregular verb. So we need to learn it by heart. To hide. What about hide? You're very fast. To hide, hid, hidden. That's right. That's right. Okay, what about to lie as лежати? Is it a regular verb or an irregular verb? If we talk about лежати, to lie. I see correct answers. That is to lay lame, because that is an irregular verb, yes? But what about to lie as telling not truth? That is a regular verb, and the two forms would be lied, lied. We just simply add ed. And the last one, that is to wear, but I don't know why students find it difficult. To wear, let's recollect, wore, worn. That's right. Okay, guys, why you need it? I will give you the full table of these irregular verbs that I suggest you to revise before your exam. Because maybe in your letter, in your writing sections, you will have to write about some past events to your friend. Yeah, sometimes they ask you to write, what did you do, where you traveled, or whatever. So if you have to tell about some past events to your friend in your informal letter, then surely you will need to use the past form of some verbs. So please revise that. Okay, let's go next. If we talk about past simple and past continuous, it is mainly used when we talk about these two actions, yes? A long action that was interrupted by a short action. And we usually combine these two parts, these two short sentences, with some words. Let's find out what these words are. So it's common to use gap or gap to link two actions. What are these two words that we usually use to combine in one sentence, a long action and a short action? I see the correct answer, well done. We use when or while to link these two actions, but there is something special about these two words actually. So we can use gap before the continuous action. For example, while, yes, so while the professor was being interviewed on BBC television, his kids joined the live broadcast. Do you remember that situation? That was very funny, yes? So we had a continuous action and a short action that interrupted it, yes? So, and we can use while in order to describe the situation. So we put while before the continuous action. The professor was being interviewed, yes? And the short action in this example would be his kids joined the broadcast, yes? Okay, let's go next. We can use when before the continuous action or the short action. So when is used for both the continuous action and the short action. Let's read the same situation, yes? When the professor was being interviewed on BBC television, his kids joined the live broadcast. So no changes, we just change while into when, yes? We can substitute them. And let's read the same situation, but let's put this when before the short action. The professor was being interviewed on BBC television when his kids joined the live broadcast. So you see that we can actually use when for both, for the long action and for the short action. But there is something you need to remember. We do not use while for what actions? Give me your answers to the chess. We don't use while for what actions? For short actions, that's right. So we cannot say the professor was being interviewed on BBC television while his kids joined the live broadcast. No, we cannot. We can use either when before the short action, or we can use when or while before the long action. Great. I hope you don't have any questions. If you have any questions, you can put them to the chat, and we will talk more about past simple, past continuous. No questions? If not, then let me continue. So we remember that we can use past simple to talk about past habits, past states, and single actions in the past. Yes? But there is something else. Let's say there are some more structures that we can use to talk about past habits or past states. Do you have any guesses what these structures are? Your guesses to the chat. What can we use to talk about past habits? That's right. We can use used to. But as usual, in English, there are many rules that you need to remember. Yes, there are some tricky questions that you need to know about this structure used to. Okay, do you know this lady? Can you guess who is that? I see you know. Some time ago, she was like this, yes? But now she looks like this. Let me read you some sentences about her. So she used, or she would wear, or she wore official clothes, but now she likes bright suits. She didn't used to wear makeup, but now she does. While at school, she used to be, or she was, the smartest kid in the class. Once, she even won a math competition. So I told about this lady by using some structures, yes? And these are past simple, used to, and would. But the difference is that we can use past simple to talk about single actions. For example, once she won a math competition. We can use simple past to talk about past habits. For example, she wore official clothes. And we also can use past simple to talk about past states. For example, she was the smartest kid in the chat. But with used to, we cannot use it for single actions. So we cannot use once she even used to win, yes? No, we cannot. We can use used to only to talk about past habits, like she used to wear, or to talk about past states. For example, she used to be the smartest in the class. With construction would, it's something different. We cannot use it for single actions. We cannot use it for past states, but we can easily use it for past habits. So we can either say she used to wear, or we can substitute that with would, and that would be she would wear official clothes. And the meaning will be the same. So there is not only used to, but there is also would that you can also use to talk about past habits. So I suggest that we practice. Let's look at this task and let's try to put either used to or would into the gaps, or let's put them both. Let's go to number 1. When we lived in in Brighton, Birmingham, when we lived in Brighton, my father gap swimming in the sea every morning. So what can we use here? When we lived in Brighton, my father gap swimming in the sea every morning. So can we put used to, or can we put would, or can we put both here? That's right, you're completely correct. We can use both, because remember, we can use used to and would to talk about past habits. Let's go to sentence number 2. I got a small green bicycle when I was younger. So can we use used to, would, or maybe we can use both? To make it easier, put together with your answer, put to in front, like beside your answer. So number 2, can we use both? To have, is it a state or an action? Remember that there are some state verbs that tell us about the state, and have is a state verb. So we can use only used to in this example, and we can never use would. By the way, can we use past simple in this example? Can we? Past simple. Can we say I had a small green bicycle when I was younger? Yeah, surely we can. In any example, we can put past simple. Great, let's go to number 3. Gap in ghost when you were a child. That is a question. And we have believe. So let's try to think, is believe an action or a state? If you put the answer, try to read the sentence aloud and think about the meaning that you get. Yes? That is only did you used to believe, because believe is a state. It's not an action. Yes? So we can only say did you used to believe, because would you believe it has another meaning. Yes? Would you believe has some future meaning, yeah, or some hypothetical meaning, not the past. Okay, let's go to number 4. Every year in the summer, we gap 300 kilometers to visit our grandmother in Birmingham. Maybe we can use both here. Is travel a state, an action? We can use both, that's right, because travel is an action. We used to or we would travel. Great, let's go to the next one. She gapped sugar in her coffee, but now she hates it. Okay, think about the verb like. Is it a state or is it an action? And we clearly see that like, that is a state, that's not an action. That's why we can use only used to, or in any situation you can use past simple. Yes, she liked sugar, but now she hates it. Great, let's go to number 6. We gap home through the park when we finished school. We have walk. Walk, that is the same as example number 4. Yes, to walk is an action, so we can use both, used to or would work. And by the way, can we use past simple? Surely we can. Yes, I will show you this table again. So it makes it easier when you see this table and you can clearly choose out of the options which one suits you. Yes, if you have a state, surely would will not suit the gap. Great. Let's go next. Let's look at this picture. Let's talk about something unpleasant, some unpleasant weather, I would say. Do you like such weather? I think no. That's something that we have now in April. And let me read you one sentence. Yeah, an old man, I agree. Yeah. So David, his name is David, hadn't checked the weather forecast before he left home. And I have to question, which action happened first? Okay, which action happened first? Checked the weather, I agree. They hadn't checked. What grammar structure is that? Hadn't checked. Perfect. What type of perfect? Past perfect. That's right. What action happened next? So firstly, check weather and then left home. And left home, that is past simple. So guys, I suppose you know when we need to use past perfect because I see your correct answers. But anyway, let's recollect. So we use past perfect to talk about events or finished activities or information that happened before the main events in the past or before another action in the past. Yes, so something happened first and then next happened something another, yeah? So for example, before we came to the restaurant, we had booked a table. So we clearly see two actions and one action had happened before another action happened. Yeah, so in this case, we need this past perfect. But actually, if from the context, you can use past simple if the order of past events is clear to you. So like if you have like 3 actions, like a series of action, like a list, yes, one action after another. Remember that you can simply use past simple, yes, there is no need to use past perfect. For example, I woke up, I had coffee, I left for work. So that is clear from the context which action happened before. There is no need to use past perfect. But let's look at these 2 examples. Let's try to fill in the gaps here. What do you think for number 1? That's something different. Sophia gap for 2 hours when finally the bus gap. Let's talk about number one. Let's talk about Sophia. For 2 hours. There is some kind of duration. Can you see that? For 2 hours. Some continuous action in the past before another action in the past. We are talking about past. Sophia had been waiting for 2 hours when finally the bus arrived. That's right. And let's talk about Patrick. That is the same. Patrick got tired because he kept all night. Again, can you see the duration, a continuous action in the past? Can you see that? Patrick looked tired because he had been working all night. Okay, guys, maybe you would tell me what grammar structure is that? Had been waiting, had been working. What is that? I see all answers, actually they are all correct. Past perfect continuous. So in what situation we need this past perfect continuous? We needed to talk about actions or situations that started in the past and continued up to another action in the past. Like with the Patrick or with Sophia, yes? So she started that waiting and she continued waiting up to another action in the past, like bus arrived. In these examples, we need this past perfect continuous. Sophia had been waiting for 2 hours when finally the bus arrived. Or we can also, it's very rare actually, it's seldom where you can face past perfect continuous, but it might be that's when you have some action that had just finished, like maybe with Patrick, yeah? He had just finished his work and that had an effect, yes, at a specific time in the past. Like we have with the Patrick, yes? Patrick looked tired because he had been working all night. That was a long continuous action that had some effect, yes, at another action in the past. I suggest that we look at some formation, yes, of these two tenses, but that is not difficult actually. In order to use past perfect, you just need auxiliary verb had for all like for all forms, and then plus the third form of the verb or past participle. Yeah. For past perfect continuous, we use had been plus the ing ending with the main verb. For example, they had been saving money for, I'm sorry, I cannot say it. They had been saving money for 3 years before they won the money in a lottery. So you see, there are two auxiliary verbs, had been, and then we have the ing ending with the main verb, saving. Yeah. I suggest we practice a bit, yes, with the usage of this past perfect and past perfect continuous. So let's look at these sentences and let's try to choose the correct options. Here you may see past simple, past continuous, past perfect, or past perfect continuous. Yes, let's revise all of them. Let's look at number one. The fog got thicker and thicker and we were scared. And we have three options there. What do you think? Which one is correct? That's right, was getting. Yeah, we use past continuous. Actually, there is a kind of developing situation. Yes, some continuous action. But we can also use past continuous when we set the scenes for a narrative. For example, the sun was shining, the fog was getting thicker and thicker, or whatever. When you start the narrative, when you start your story, you can set the scene by using this past continuous. That is a very good example. The fog was getting thicker and thicker. Great. Let's go to number B. Let's go to number two. Oliver and Betty hardly knew each other when they decided to get married. Why? After when we usually use past simple, that is rule number one, and we have just two actions, one after another. Yeah. Okay, let's go to number three. Chemistry lessons at school. So we have a gap and we have a question mark. So that should be a question, yes? And we have 4 options. Were you enjoying? Had you enjoyed? Would you enjoy? Did you used to enjoy? Let me check your answers. I see different answers here. So first of all, we need to decide, yes? So that would be, did you used to enjoy? We need to decide whether enjoy is a state verb or maybe it's an action. Is enjoy an action? And actually, no, that is a state. So a state verb. Remember that with a state verb, we cannot use any continuous tense and we cannot use would. So the only possible variant that will be, did you used to enjoy? Yeah? And if you look at the context of this sentence, at the meaning of this sentence, like when they ask you about school, it means something in the past, something that you did in the past, but now you do not. Some kind of past habit, past state, sorry. Let's go to number 4. When I was at school, students gave their teachers more than they do now. Again, is respect a state verb or an action verb? To respect. Is it an action? Actually, no, that is a state verb. That's why used to respect. Were respecting, we cannot use it. Had been respecting also. Had respected, because we don't have another action in the past, yes? Okay, let's go to number 5. The security guard was watching the fans while the tennis player gave autographs. Let me check your answers for 5. C-A-C-A. Okay, can you see 2 actions in this example, yes? Were they happening at the same time? They were happening at the same time, yes? That's why we're in C. The security guard was watching, and at the same time, at that exactly moment, the tennis player was signing autographs. Okay, let's go to number 6. Let me read it aloud. How long gap for when the storm broke? About an hour. Okay. What? And I see the correct answer. Yeah. How long have they been sailing for when the storm broke? So that is a good example. When can we use this past perfect continuous? Yes, so we have one past action that started in the past and continued up to another action in the past. Yes, so we have this long action and a short action. Storm broke. Great, let's go next. Okay, number 1. Give me your answers to the chat. That's right. I see that that's quite easy, yes. Did people used to dance? Yes. Actually, we can use would in this example, but we need a question, yes. Would people dance would also be possible, but we don't have such option. Okay, let's go next. How long gap the robbery for before they actually went ahead with it? I see correct answers. Good job, guys. Again, past action in progress, like that was interrupted, another past action, yes? How long had the thieves been planning before they actually went ahead with it? Great, let's go to number 3. I gap in London for 5 years when the company I work for offered me a job in Cyprus. Again, the same example, yes? You see, it's very easy to spot this past perfect continuous, yes, because it's there are usually 2 actions, yes? Another action is usually in past simple. Okay, number 4, by the time Harriet decided to travel with us, our flights, sorry, that was not fights, but flights. Okay. Here, I want to draw your attention in number B. I see the correct answers had already booked. Yeah, where we put this already. Yeah, this adverb after auxiliary verb, but before the main verb. Yeah, that's something that you need to remember. So we put already after had, but before booked. We had already booked. Okay, number 5. Did you get there in time? Yes, as soon as the races began. That is quite tricky. But anyway, we have as soon as, that is the time marker, that is the signal word for past perfect, as soon as we had arrived. Yeah, so let's think logically. First, we had arrived and then the races began. Yeah, so try to remember that as soon as shows you that you need to use past perfect. Yeah, so first they had arrived, then the races began. Okay, see, my family and I got the possibility of moving abroad long before I got a job in the UK. Long before, so something started before, yes, and they had been doing that, they had been discussing it long before the person got a job in the UK. That's right, that is B, that is C, sorry, C. Okay, and number 7, I didn't recognize Jack, he gap so tall since I had seen him last time. So what happened to Jack? Surely you will see the recording. So yeah, he had grown. So he had grown and then I met and saw him. Great. Let's go to number B, number 8. Before I saw the film, before I saw the film, I had never been so interested in space. Yes, so first he hadn't been interested in that, but then he saw the film. That's right. I see all answers are correct. That's good. Okay, guys, so I see you can spot the cases when you need to use this past perfect continuous, which might seem the toughest if we talk about past tenses. Okay, let's go to the use of English section. Let's have some fun. Yeah. Do you remember how many questions you have there? There are only 2 tasks, by the way, but there are 20 questions, and they are usually divided into 4 short texts. First 2 are devoted to vocabulary. Yes? Yes, you will have the opportunity to watch the recording, surely. Okay, and task number 9 is devoted to what? It's devoted to grammar. Okay, so and it looks like this. The tasks themselves look similar. Yes, so your task is to read the text and to fill in the gaps by choosing the correct option out of the suggested. Yeah, so let's go. I suggest that we do first a grammar task and then vocabulary. But before that, let's look at some tips that might help you to do this vocabulary and grammar use of English tasks. First of all, what I really suggest you to do, what might be useful, is to skim the text to check its main idea. We will do some grammar task now, yes, for use of English, and you will see why it's necessary, yes? So look through the text and check its main idea. Then choose one option out of the 4 suggested. Skim means to read fast, to look through. Not reading and like thinking about each sentence, no. Just look through to find out the main idea. Then choose one option out of the 4 suggested. Surely, if we talk about vocabulary, the word should suit the context, should suit the meaning of the sentence. If we talk about grammar, surely you should check whether it suits grammatically. Yeah? Then pay attention to the words or text before and after the gap. Yeah, that is strategy number 1. In order to fill in the gap, to put something in the text, you should pay attention to what precedes the gap and what follows the gap. And if you have any doubts, surely you can leave that question and come back to it later. That is like very good, and it's very helpful because you can come back to that question after you have done all other questions. And when everything is ready, don't forget about the task. Don't forget to reread the text and make sure that it makes sense. Yes, so because usually when you're ready, you just go to the next task. No, just simply look through it and make sure that all your answers like suit the context, suit the meaning that your text has some meaning, some sense. So let's surely start with the grammar task, yeah? So that is a short text, and I will give you 15 seconds to look through it, and we will try to fill in the gaps. Okay, look through the text, at least to understand what it is about. Ready? Then let's go. I see already correct answers. So that is a story about a man called Solomon who, and I see the correct answer, used to be. Yes, be is a state, it's about past state. All other variants do not suit grammatically. Agree? No others? We cannot put was because we have be. Be attentive. Yes, you see? Yeah, surely we can say was a free man, but here we have be. So we can put only used to be. Yes, no other options are possible. Okay, until one day in 1841, when his life gap completely. When, we have this when. Remember, that is a time marker for past simple. When his life changed completely. Northrop gap in New York for years. Do you see that duration in the past? Yes, I hope you see it. That is C, had been living in New York for years, when one day two men gave him a temporary job. But when there is another action, another past action, and we have when, remember, if we have when, we usually have past simple. When two men offered him a temporary job. Great. In Washington, a place, Northrop gap to before. And we have options, had never gone, didn't go, wasn't going, had never been. Let's look at this. What do you think? What is correct here? Had never been. So remember the difference between gone and been. Gone means that you go somewhere and don't come back. Been means you go somewhere and you come back. So Northrop had never been to that place before. Okay, 6. However, once they arrived, the two men gave him and sold him into slavery. What is that? Number 6. And that is D. You see a series of actions in the past. Arrived, then drugged, and then sold. So we have a series of past actions. Great, let's go to number 7. Northrop's life as a slave gap unbearable. Unbearable, that means very difficult. So, and that is number 7. Had been, was, used to be, or would be. And that is the state. That is past state. I mean, we just need past simple here, yes? Was unbearable. We talk about some finished actions in the past, yes? So the life was unbearable. And number 8, the last one. So Northrop had been a slave for 12 years before he was finally rescued and the chance to go back to his family. Yeah, we have when that shows us that it should be past simple, had the chance to go back to his family. Okay, guys, any questions? I see a lot of correct answers. So no questions here. Then let's go next. Okay, let's try to do the same task, but with vocabulary. Do you want to try? I hope you want. So that is the same task, but as you may see, there is no grammar. So this task is aimed to check your vocabulary, yeah? So again, I will give you 15 seconds to look through the text and we will start doing it. Look through it. I see some answers already, so we can start. So after gap, mark a lift to the airport, and we have taken, given, present, and having. You see, look through the whole sentence. After gap, mark a lift to the airport, Julie. So this part is not about Mark, but this part about Julie, what Julie did. So, and Julie gave Mark a lift. So that is given. After giving Mark a lift to the airport, Julie gave her way home. What did Julie do? Made, that's right, I see, correct. To make way home means to go home. What an exciting life he gap. So how would you say in another word? To live, yes? Or to lead life, that will be led, yes? The past form of lead, led. Let's go next. She gap her time doing little more. What do we do with time? Yes, we spent. So she spent her time doing little more than gap care of him and the children. So what is that? Spent. Number 4, that is spent. And number 5, that is taken care, to take care of him and the children. Means to look after, yes? To do something for them. Okay, let's go next. Now her sister was getting divorced and would doubtless be gap demands on her too. So what about demands? What can be there? To demand, to ask somebody to do something for you. That's right, I see correct answers. Making demands on her too. So let's go next. She decided to run herself a bath. She had a gap pain. So how can we describe pain? Demands means when you, like that is synonym of requirements, like that's when you ask somebody to do something for you. So you demand, you say you should do something for me. Sharp pain, that's right, in her side, and hoped that a hot bath might gap the pain. How can we say to help with the pain? We can say to ease the pain. Was it difficult or not? Was it more difficult than grammar? So, yeah. So actually, guys, as you have maybe noticed, this text was based on such phrases as give a lift, take care, make demands, sharp pain. Okay, do you have any ideas? How do we call these phrases? How we call these phrases? Give a lift, take care, make demands, sharp pain, ease the pain, make the way home. That are collocations, that's right. So you see, in order to do such tasks, yeah, of course, surely you will not have the full task, the task on your exam full of collocations, but anyway, you will face them in your exam for sure. They usually check your knowledge of these collocations. So collocations are groups of words, yes, that usually go together. So they collocate, they co-work together, yes, co and locate. They work together in some place, so they go together, they collocate. And I suggest we look at some most common collocations with you. For example, what is she doing? What is this lady doing? What is she doing? Making a bed, yeah? So you will never say doing a bed or whatever, or taking a bed or giving a bed. You will say making a bed, because that is a common collocation. These two words usually go together, yes? Make a bed. Usually, the most common collocations in English go with two verbs, do and make. So let's check how well you can remember them. Let's look at these sentences and let's try to choose the correct option. Either make or do. So let's go to number one. Number one, that is make sure. So Carol made sure. Number two, he was so tired to make or do the housework. Do the housework. Surely you will never say make the housework. No, do the housework. Okay, our representatives do or make business. Number three. Actually, we do business. We do business. We don't make, but we do business. Okay, let's go to number four. A lot of people did or made fun of Helen. That's right. Made fun of somebody. Yes, not do fun of somebody, but make fun of somebody. Okay, number five. Japanese researchers have done or made a discovery. If we talk about discovery, do we make or do a discovery? We make a discovery. Okay, number six, I never do or make my shopping. If you talk about any housework, that is do. That is very easy. You can do the ironing, do the shopping, do the housework. So they all go with do because you do something. Okay, number seven, may I do or make a suggestion? Number seven, if you want to offer, if you want to suggest, we say make a suggestion. And number eight, it won't do or make any harm. So if we talk about harm, we do a harm. Great. What about this? Make or do mistakes? Make or do mistakes? Let me check the answers. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. That's right. We make mistakes. We never do mistakes. Okay, and what parts of speech are these? Make mistakes. What part of speech are this? These are a verb and a noun. These are the most common collocations in English when you have a verb and a noun. So let's try to recollect more. Of course, surely we don't have only do and make collocations, but we have some more. The verbs that are usually used in collocations are catch, do, have, keep, leave, set, tell, change, give, hold, lead, make, take, turn. So actually, these verbs collocate with some words, and that is like a rule. Yes, they never collocate with some other words. For example, what do we do with the page and with the handle? Do we open the page or do we open the handle? No, we turn the page. Okay, what about a meeting? Like I'm doing now. What I'm doing now? I am... What do you think about meeting? I'm holding a meeting. The same, I can say I hold my, like your hand. Hold a meeting. Okay, your time and temperature. What do we do with temperature? No, that's not a type of task. We're just revising collocations. Okay, what do we do with temperature? If you want to check your temperature, you take. The same, we can use take your time, means don't hurry up. Yes, take your time, don't hurry up. Okay, let's go to number 7. A message or a space. What can we do with a message? And the same with space. Space means some free place or free room for something. Leave a message. Yes, like leave a message for him. I will leave a message for him. Great. With advice and an interview, we can say I advise you to do something, or to give advice, yes, or to give a piece of advice to someone. Okay, what about headache? Headache and shower. That's right. We can, I see the correct answers actually. We can actually say take a shower. Yeah, but we cannot say take a headache. So if we talk about these two words, only have collocates with them both. Okay, their next one, make a noise or make a progress. Yeah, we don't do a noise, but we make a noise. That's something that you need to remember. Okay, number 2. That's very easy. I think that's the easiest collocation that all students know. Catch a bus and catch a cold. Yes, to become ill means to catch a cold. Yes, when you have a cold. Great. Number 4, remember I told you, when you do any type of housework, you do it. You do the ironing. You also do your homework. What about a story? What we do with a story? We tell a story, but we can also say tell lies. It means to lie to somebody, to take some false information to somebody. Yes, to tell lies. Okay, a light bulb or trains? Change trains. So when you go by one train, then you change. Yes, and you change trains and take another train. Okay, what about a secret? Hold the secret or keep a secret? Surely keep, never hold. Keep a secret. Okay, and let's go to number 12. What your teachers do? They usually set some homework. They don't give you some homework, but they set some homework, yes, for you. And we also can say set the alarm. And the last one, to lead, yes. To lead the world in something means to be the best among other countries in something. For example, Great Britain leads the world in economy, for example, yes, or in tourism or whatever. Okay, I hope you have relaxed a bit. Let's go next. What about this collocation? Little brother or small brother? So let's imagine that you had, let's imagine, yes, if you had a younger brother, would you say a little brother or a small brother? Yeah, little brother. So if you talk about a younger brother, we don't say a small brother. We say a little brother and a big brother. Yes, so no other collocation is common. And what about picture number 1? What collocation is that? How do you call it? What is picture number 1? That is also very common collocation. These two words usually go together. Picture number 1. Soft drinks. That's right. Picture number 2. What collocation is that? I see correct answers to picture number 1. What about picture number 2? Heavy rain. That's right. When it's raining, we say it's heavy rain. And picture number 3, what collocation is that? How can we describe that here? Fair hair, not light hair, or I don't know, yellow hair, but fair hair. Okay, let's try to do this easy task and recollect more noun and adjective. Adjective plus noun collocations. Okay, number 1, that's heavy traffic. So that when we talk about the cars on the road, yes, we say it's heavy traffic. What about number 2? Valid, what can be valid? Valid passport, that's right. Valid passport means you can go somewhere with it, yes, so it's still okay, yes, it's valid. Okay, number 3, high quality, yes, so we don't usually say good quality, but we say high quality. Number 4, these are 2 nouns, business trip, yes? When you do business and then you go somewhere, you do some business trips. Okay, number 5, instant. What might be instant? We know instant messages, yes? Also a very common collocation, an instant message. What else might be instanced? Instant, like instant message, like done at this time, like immediately. Instant coffee, that's right. We don't say immediate coffee or whatever, we say instant coffee. Okay, permanent job, that's yes. So that for a long period, yes, so it's permanent. Soft drink and fair hair. Great. And let's look at the last collocation. Here and now or there and now? What do you think? Here and now or there and now? Have you ever faced this collocation? When you want to emphasize that something is happening at this very moment, exactly now. Yes, here and now. So you can simply say now, or if you want to emphasize like that this is something should be done immediately, you can say here and now. Great. Okay, and what about these pictures? We ordered. What collocation might be there? What can you see in the picture? Meal, but it should be a collocation. Fast food, also a very common collocation. Okay, what is she eaten? What is the girl eaten? Junk food, also a very good collocation. Fish and chips, that's right. We ordered the fish and chips at this traditional restaurant. So these are two words that usually go together. So this is a common collocation. What about picture number 2? How does the man feel? What about his feelings? So it should also be a collocation. Done of tired? Yes. So and tired. What collocation is that? And tired. Can't stand, get tired. Collocation, there should be 2 words. I am and tired of working for other people. Fed up, that's right. I am sick and tired. That's right, guys. I see the correct answer. I'm sick and tired. So if you want to, again, to use this collocation, these 2 words usually go together. Not like stressed and tired or ill and tired. No, sick and tired. I'm sick and tired means I'm fed up. So these also are type of collocations that you can actually use in your writing. So if you have an informal letter, you might use these phrases. So let's look through them, yes? And let's try to collect these collocations. For example, hugs and kisses, yeah? So you may put it somewhere. Okay, number 2, and foremost, more than anything else. How would you say that? With what collocation? It's also a very such collocation in English. First and foremost. So if you want to emphasize, if you want to start with something, you can say first and foremost. Great. Number 3, achieving the desired results gradually and reliably. Okay. Slowly but surely. It's not very difficult to remember it, yes? But it will be a good collocation to use in your letter. Slowly but surely. And actually you can face these collocations sometimes in your use of English. Okay, let's go to number 4. Sooner or later. That's right. Means at some time in the future. Yes, sooner or later. Okay, number 5. When you say that you are free from danger or injury, usually you say to your mom, I am safe and sound. Yes. So don't worry, I'm safe and sound. Great. Number 6. Either complete success or failure. All or nothing. Yes. It also gives you some great emphasis. Yes. All or nothing. And the next one is also similar to that one, make or break. So either success or a failure. I'll make it or break, for example. I will be successful or not, or I will fail, break or make or break. Number 8, little by little, Yeah, you can say gradually, but you can say little by little. I will do it like little by little. Next one, more or less. And a very good also collocation if you want to say in general. Yes, overall, in general, you can say, or you can write by and, so it means in general, overall, by and large. Great. So I think we are done with collocation. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions to the chat. I guess we revised some very useful collocations. Any questions? No? Then let's go next. And surely, as usual, at the end of the webinar, we have some practice, yes, with some real tasks. So that make you feel like an exam. So today we're going to practice the reading task. We'll finish in 10 minutes, I guess. So the reading section is divided into 4 tasks. Yes, the first task, that is a matching task. And it looks like this. When you have 5 short text or 5 short, let's say, advertisements, and your task is to match like this advertisement with their main idea. Task number 5, that is a multiple choice task. Yes, where you had to read quite a long text, and your task is to answer the question by choosing the correct option. That's more complex than task 1, but anyway. The next task is again a matching task. In these tasks, you will see either a long text, which is divided into some paragraphs, or some short texts, like separate. And your task will be the same as in task number 4. Your task will be to match these short paragraphs or texts with their main ideas. But it's more complex, surely, than the first one. And task number 7, that is a task for B2 level, and that is the toughest, I would say. That is a short text, but with some gaps. And your task there is to fill in the gaps, is to fill in these sentences with some parts. So you will have not the complete sentences, but your task will be to find the suitable ending of the sentence or the suitable clause somewhere in the middle sentence. That is the most difficult task. We did this task with you at our first webinar. Today we will focus at task 4, the matching task. Yeah. So it looks like this. You can see it on your screen. What are the tips? How to do it? Yes. So let me give you some advices. First of all, look through the text briefly. Yes, don't translate every word. It would take you, I don't know, much time. No, just look through the text and decide the main idea. What the main idea of the text is, what it is about. Just ask to yourself, okay, what is it about? What might help you? Of course, if you single out the keywords and think of some synonyms to them, that will help you to decide what the text is about. We will do this task now with you, and you will see. For this type of task, you usually have some illustrations, pictures or photos, and they actually sometimes can help you. But be careful, don't rely on these illustrations only, yes? Because sometimes the creators of the exam put these pictures in order to mislead you, yeah? So be careful with the pictures. Surely you need to choose the best option. So look at the text, decide the keyword, decide the main idea, look at the picture and choose the best option. And then go to the next one. Be careful that there you will see 5 texts, like 5 advertisements or whatever, but you will have 8 options. So it means that 3 options will be extra. So you will like they will not match with any of that text, yes? So and that is a very good strategy when you are done, when you are ready with your task, to look through the extra options that you haven't used and make sure that these extra options don't match any of those texts. Yeah, so it really helps. Let's look how it helps. Let's look at this task. Yeah, so these are 5 short texts, 5 short advertisements, let me say, yeah. Let's look at each. For example, look through the first one and say me, what are the keywords? What the keywords are? What keywords can you see in text number 17? We can see some coins. So coins are money. That's great. Look through the text now. What can you see? What keywords can you spot? The central bank collection of coins displayed along with related items. So the keywords here are collection. That's right, museum, I agree, and displayed means to show. Display means to show. Great, let's go to text 18. What can you see? We see a man, yes, who is climbing a rock or a mountain. And what are the keywords in this text? So we see climbing, but no, we cannot rely on the picture only. Yes, we look through the text and we can see surely climbing, but we can also see some other activities like gym, spa, soft play, cafe. That's not only about climbing, but that's about some, I don't know, some rest. Yes, not only about climbing. Okay, let's go to picture 19. What can you see? The first that you can see. That is a train. Now we can say train, it means about railway. Let's look through the text and let's spot the keywords. Number 19, yes? So a lovingly restored historic locomotive. Locomotive that is historic. Not just locomotive, a simple but historic, yes? And it says that that is a kind of exhibition that you can visit and relax. Again, that is not about traveling by railway, but again, about some relax, yes, about some rest. And picture 20, actually there is almost no text, yes, if we look at it. But we can surely see an actor. So we might see that it is a yes, live. I see very good keywords, live, comedy, like stand-up, maybe show, yeah? But we see an actor that's about something performance. And text 21, actually you see that in these types of tasks, you will see a lot of unfamiliar words, the words that you do not know. But remember that you don't need to know all the words. You need to find the main idea, yes, to find out the main idea. You don't need to know the translation of all those words. So the keywords here in this text is on sale and by order. So we can see that we can buy something or we can order something. Surely we may not know the meaning of the words like textiles, linen, veils, and pillows. Yeah, that might be difficult, but we can see that all these can be bought. Yes, because all these items are on sale or we can order them. So now let me show you the options and let's do this task. So what is number 17? Remember, there are 3 extra options. That's right, that is age, yes? Not B, but age. Yes, so H says that is a numismatic exhibition, yes? Great. Number 18. Number 18, that is F, a leisure center. Is it about sport competitions or no? There is not only sport, but there is also cafes, soft play, so that's about leisure. Yeah, leisure means rest, relax. Okay, next. Number 18, with this train, that is G, that's right. Is it about transport services? Again, that is about some railway excursions, yes? So we do not travel somewhere, but we go on an excursion. Great. The next one, number 20. That is D. Actually, we have only one variant that suits this picture. That's about performance because we see an actor. And number 21. I see the correct answer. That is C, shopping facilities. Remember, we can buy something, even if we don't know these words, but we can buy these items or we can order them. And what is the next step that we need to do? So we are ready with the task, but what is the next step? Who can type me the correct answer? What is the next step when we are ready with the task? What should we do? Check extra, that's right. So which variants didn't we use? We didn't use A. Let's double check. Is there anything about transport service? Some transport services. Can you see any variants that are about? No. Okay, the next one, that is B. Does any of these texts tell us about some financial services like banks or whatever? No. And number E, is there anything about competition? No, actually no. Mainly we had two variants that were about relax, about rest, about leisure time activities, but no competitions. Okay. If you don't have any questions, if you have, you can put your questions to the chat. But my suggestion is don't panic or don't stress if you don't know the translation of all words. You don't need to know the translation. You need to understand the main idea. What can help you? Illustrations can help you sometimes, but remember that they can mislead you. And keywords. Keywords can help you a lot. So if no, then let's sum up. Let's answer these yes or no questions. Just simply yes or no. So number one, can we use when before both the continuous action and the short action? So can we use when before both the continuous action and the short action? Yes, we can. Yes, yes, yes. Remember, not only while, but when is also possible for the continuous action. Okay, can we always use would and used to as synonyms? No, no, no. We cannot use would if we want to talk about past states. Yes, we can use only for past habits, actions. Number three, do we use past perfect to talk about a finished activity that happened after another past action? It's a tricky question. No, we use it to talk about the action that happened before. Yeah, so the first action, for the first action, we need to use past perfect. For the next action, we need to use past simple. Okay, can we do any mistakes? Can we do any mistakes? No, we make mistakes. And the last one, does by and large mean in general? Does by and large mean in general? Yes, 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 and feel free to use it in your writing. Okay, so that is all for today. If you have any questions, you can put your questions to the chat. If not, then my colleague will share a link for the next webinar. Yes, and there you see the link to the Telegram channel where you can find the links for all recordings and registration for the following webinars. So thank you a lot. Thank you for your great participation, for your hard work. Make mistakes, make mistakes. Option little brother. So if you talk about a younger brother, you call him a little brother, not a small brother, a little brother, while you are a big brother. So little brother, that is the younger brother, and big brother, that is the older brother in the family. Okay, thank you. Thank you, and see you next Sunday. Okay, let me look through your maybe some other questions. Okay, what another word? Actually, you can watch the recording and you will see all the words again. Okay, then goodbye. Bye-bye. If you want to see all the words again, you can watch the recording and see all the options. Okay.